In the vast and dynamic landscape of the beef industry, end users play a pivotal role, and their influence extends far beyond the dinner plate. These individuals, from chefs to retail beef buyers to home cooks, and everyone in between, represent the final destination for a product whose journey begins on individual farms and ranches all across our country. So what do we as beef producers need to consider when it comes to understanding and addressing the needs of these end users? I'm here with an influential group of stakeholders who will shed some light on this important subject. First, we have Jason Garcia, corporate executive chef for Talk of the Town Restaurant Group and Charley's Steakhouse right here in Orlando, Florida. Next is LeaAnn Adams-Simmons of the Adams Ranch Beef near Fort Pierce, Florida. They sell beef to Florida Whole Food stores and Cheney Brothers, a wholesale distributor right here in Florida. Our final panelist is DeAnne Maples. She's the executive director for the Florida Beef Council. Thank you so much for joining us on this show. And DeAnne, I want to start with you. I mean, what role do restaurants and retailers really play in driving and impacting the demand for beef?
Kevin, I think really they are the unsung heroes, I think, for the beef industry. They are the last people to have our product in their hands, and they're the trendsetters. They're watching what the consumers are interested in, and then they're responding to that. And when I think about the culinary landscape, which has really become so dynamic, we have these innovative chefs who are constantly experimenting with our product and really elevating it to the next level. That draws the consumer in, creates a buzz around that product, and what we see is the consumer then has this awesome dining experience that they want to, continue choosing beef in the restaurant, but then also going home and choosing beef at the grocery store for their home kitchen. I mean, these folks really they're doing this job that is creating beef enthusiasts one delicious dish at a time. We need these people.
And speaking of creating beef enthusiasts one delicious dish at a time, that's your business, Jason. I'm curious, what are the things that are top of mind for you as you choose what beef you're going to select and serve to your customers?
Top of mind would be the grade.
Okay.
That it's Midwestern grain-fed cattle.
Okay.
It's very important. We find that an Angus breed also lends to more marbling and then the attributes that we're looking for. That it's wet aged a minimum of 21 to 28 days, which helps break down the meat and makes it more tender and gives a very flavorful product when it's on the plate.
That's outstanding. And from a retail perspective, LeaAnn, what are you seeing there?
Very close to the same thing. Quality grade, so important. Choice or higher, and a consistent supply. If you don't have a consistent supply, you kind of got to walk away from the game.
Yeah. Consistency is so important, isn't it? And I think that's one thing, Leanne, that we've really improved in the beef industry over the last 20 years is the consistency of our product. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And it's a story we tell all the time about the distance we've come in terms of genetics and things like that. We want to meet the consumer preference.
So let's talk about consumer preferences for just a minute, because certainly quality is one thing, but there are other things that are on consumers' mind today other than quality and juiciness and flavor. What are some of those other things that are driving the demand for beef? Chef Jason?
Definitely the quality of the beef. The consumers know more now of the difference between, say, choice and prime. Yeah. And they're definitely gravitating towards the higher end of that market, and they understand that the wet aging, the dry aging, it's something that consumers know more now than they used to. And they, like she said earlier, they try to recreate that at home. They have it in a dining experience, and then they go to the grocery store, to their butcher market, wherever, and try to recreate that at home.
LeaAnn, you have direct connection with consumers as they come to your ranch and buy beef. What are you hearing in terms of some of their preferences?
The main thing is local. Is it sustainable? Wanting to know the whole process. So where all have these animals been? But I would say local is a buzzword that is not going away.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what are the kinds of questions? People come to your restaurant, Chef Jason, and sit down. What are the kinds of questions they're asking you about the beef?
Usually the first one is it grass-fed?
Okay.
Is it local? If it's not grass-fed, what was it fed? We kind of walk through all of that. Is it wet aged? If if that's what we're talking about. What does that mean to them? Yeah. If it's dry aged, what does that mean to them? And then again, they always come back to, well, if it's a grade, tell me why that grade is. And it becomes an educational experience of marbling, flecks of fat, ribbons of fat, so on and so forth.
Interesting. What are you seeing from a Beef Council standpoint? What are the kinds of questions we're hearing from consumers?
So I think that I think we're kind of in a beef revolution a little bit. We used to talk about steaks and burgers more, and now I find that consumers are interested in more unique cuts. They're sampling new cooking styles, and maybe they're seeing some of that on TV or online or something, but they're getting a little bit more adventurous, and it's like they want this adventure on their plate, but yet they want to LeaAnn's point and Chef's point, the local idea and sustainability. I mean, they're buying into a story, really. It's a sort of a package of things, and I think that for restaurants and retailers and people, they're all trying to keep up with that and stay ahead of the curve on that and meet that consumer preference.
And we do have a good story to tell, and certainly a lot more questions from you.